What's up, everybody? I'm back once again with a late night edition of What's on My Desk in Mind. Um, Hopefully, this won't be too long, but I had something specific in my brain today. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about what's on my desk today. If you've never been to this show before, first of all, shame on you. Basically, what we do is we just go through whatever weirdness has shown up on my desk, and then a little bit of a rant about what's on this little noggin here. And I've got a big ass head, so there's always something that we can talk about. Today, we have a few little things, nothing big today. Nothing major, but one, I have this thing, and I realized I've never used it. I have this communicator, right? It's got this nice little clip. It comes off, right? It's got a speaker. It's essentially like the Stormtroopers, you see in Star Wars, but it's a Bluetooth thing from Disney, so it actually works. So I bought this from Disney with the express idea to use when I'm wearing. So I'd have my phone, I can put my phone away, but if it rings, I could answer it through this while I'm wearing my snowtrooper armor through I'm part of the 501st. And that way I could wear this thing, never once used it. It's been sitting in my collection ever since. I've tested it. It does work, but I've never actually used it. So maybe someday. So that's one thing. I have this too, yet another thing that I don't use. My wife got me this cool TIE fighter years ago, or a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a little display TIE fighter. It's actually a speaker if you've never seen these. It's a Bluetooth speaker, but I've never been able to get it to work right. I can plug it in and use it, but the cable's so short that it's like I might as well just have my phone sitting here and use it. So now it is in fact just a display on my desk, but it sounds nice when it works, but it just doesn't work most of the time. So that's that. And then the last thing I was going to show you is something I used to take to conventions a lot, but I have my own statue of my buddy Clunk. If you don't know who Clunk is, and his hand broke off in transit through one of the conventions I went to. Clunk is a slug-like alien, obviously. Got the little slug thing. If you look closely, you see the green. That's a slug trail. He is a character I created years ago for my webcomic Last Stop. I did it for about 6 years. Everything was about Last Stop, and I had this lovely man I found him online. He did these statues, handmade clay statues. I just went blank. I know the guy, and now I forgot his name. It's been so long since I've talked to him. I didn't even see him online. I'll edit it and put it in the comments when I dig out his name, if he's still doing it or not. But I had this commissioned. I originally planned to do all the characters, so I'd have the full lineup. Financially, I wasn't able to do it at the time. But he did this one, so it's my only character I have. It's back in 2009. That's how old this is. So 10 years ago, I had this made, and he lost an arm. I still have it. It's back over there. This sits on my drawing, not my drawing table, but my table with all my markers and stuff. Is my inspiration is that I created this character, and everything I've done since has evolved from this character. And who knows? I may be potentially working on something new with this character soon. So be on the lookout for some Clunk. That's my Clunk statue. He got moved over here because I was doing something with him, and his hand is still over there, so it makes no sense why. So anyway, I also have a copy of Lockup, Sylvester Stallone on 4K. There'll be a review for that going up on our website. It's coming out next week on 4K for the first time. There's a ton of other stuff, but you know what? I want to. We've seen some few things that's on my desk, but let's talk about what's on my mind. Tomorrow. Well, today, technically, it's already, 1 in the morning or something. We're having our big Federation test. If you don't know, my full-time job is I am a martial arts instructor. I teach Taekwondo, I teach Muay Thai, I teach some weapons and things like that. But my predominant stuff is Taekwondo and Muay Thai. Tomorrow, every year, we have a big Federation belt test. And our belt test, it's in honor of my instructor, Mr. Grandmaster Steve DeLuna, who passed away in 2008. It's done around his birthday, which his birthday is September 11th. I know it's creepy. He died in 2008 on 4th of July. It's very strange. But anyway, I'm not making any of that up. That's actual factual. But we do a belt test, a memorial belt test for him every year. And that's when we have all of our people that come in and test for black belts, brown belts, red belts, all just upper belts. But the Federation, anybody that has people ready to test, they bring them in at that time. That's when they test. And a bloodbath ensues, or we always hope for one. I have 4 people testing this time. Last year I had, I think, 4 or 5. Year before that I had nobody. So it varies. I've got 3 young men test for red belt, and I've got one young man. I say young man, he's almost 50. He's in his late 40s. He's my age, who's tested for his first rookie black belt. All of them are harder working people. They're probably the hardest working students that I have in that level right now. But thinking about their test and leading into it, there's a lot of stuff that I have conversations with other black belts, instructors, teachers. Because essentially, if you're a martial arts instructor, you're a teacher. I get flack from some teachers that we're not the same thing. I get other ones that get it. We don't just teach people to punch and kick. We teach them how to be good people. If you're in a good school, I'm teaching them, like I try to teach them life lessons. I try to teach them what's right, what's wrong. I try to teach them to not do what I did growing up, the bad things that I might have come across or the bad things I might have done. I've made mistakes like everybody else. All of us have. Nobody's perfect. And I'm sure I'll continue to make mistakes. We all do. We just got to try to strive to be better, figure out what you did wrong. But anyway, leading towards this belt test, it always makes me think, I want to talk about effort in life, effort in something you want to do. And what I believe our culture has gotten to a point where we lack effort. And what I mean by that, it's across the board. Like, obviously, if you're out there and you're on the grind and you're busting your butt and you're doing everything you can and you're making that money and you're succeeding in life and you're doing this stuff, then you're probably not the person I'm talking to. But just because you are making money, just because you're happy, just because you have things, that still doesn't mean you used effort. There are people that inherited them. There's people that have been given things that they didn't deserve or didn't earn. Those people didn't use effort. And when I talk about effort, I'm talking about effort, not just physical effort, but also here and in here, right? I'm going to stick to most of the discussion about martial arts because that's what I do, right? So I want to talk about what I know. Martial arts, traditional, old school martial arts, which is what I'm mostly involved with, it's about focus. It's about respect. It's about bettering yourself. When we test somebody for black belt, I always tell them, my goal is to give you perspective. Their test is going to be about my 4 people. I think one other person. So we'll have 5 people. The test is going to probably be about 4 to 5 hours long. People going for black belt, we push them to the point to try to break them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because we want to make sure that they did everything they could to earn what they're getting. And it's not the piece of cloth they're going to wrap around their belt of their waist. It's what it means. And it all comes from effort, right? When you come up, we live in a society where people are looking for that quick way. We have, people doing YouTube shows like this one, but their goal is to make money. I don't make any money at doing my website. I don't make money at my YouTube stuff. If I did, awesome. But that's not the goal. The goal is to have fun. The goal is to do something that I enjoy doing, right? And if my words get out to somebody and it makes them laugh, awesome. If it helps them in some way, awesome. If they make fun of me, awesome. Doesn't matter to me. As long as it entertains somebody. If they ignore me completely, so be it. I don't care. This isn't for them. It's for me, right? It's just because I think it's fun. And one of the issues is people don't want to put that effort into things anymore. They just want it given to them. And in the world of martial arts, it's probably as high up there as you can in politics and all the nonsense you can think of, like in any other organization. We have situations where you have people that don't earn belts, and you think, how could that even be possible? Yes, there's governing bodies that watch things, but that doesn't mean they control anybody's life. Obviously, if somebody leaves, we've had people that they didn't like the answer they got. They were asked, hey, I want to test for something. Somebody said to them no. So they find somebody that will do it and then want to come back and expect us. Like, I sit on the board of a federation, and the federation my instructor started, the Texas Martial Arts Federation. I sat on the board for it. And you have people that come to us, and when we say, no, we don't recognize that because you didn't earn it, they get mad and run away. And I'm like, bye. I'm trying to uphold the values. But it boils down, again, to effort. When you come up in martial arts, when you start, there's a very distinct difference that I see with my students. For every 5 students that start, there's one student in there that gives it everything. They're all in, right? They're there. They're there to fight. They're there to push themselves. You listen, ask them to do something, they do it. They ask questions. They want to learn. They want to be better, right? They leave every class sweating and tired and ready to go. And if you told them class is longer, they'd be right there. If you tell them we're going to do a class, they show up. And then you have the other ones that just show up, go through the motions, and go home. You can't teach heart, right? And effort comes from heart. It comes from your mind to what do you want out of this? And it's very common knowledge that for every 10 people that start martial arts, you're going to make maybe one black belt if you're lucky, right? When I came up, there was probably and it was a lot different now. Now it's all kids mostly. It's kids and a few adults, right? When I came up, it was all adults and a few kids, right? The group I came up with, there was probably 4 or 5 of us that actually made it to the black belt level in that area. I got mine. I think I got mine first. I don't remember. But then the other guys with me either kind of following. One of them quit like 2 months before his black belt test because he got mad. The other ones stayed for a while. Some of them went off to college. Some of them had families. Some of them lost interest. Things happen. It doesn't mean they all quit because they were lazy. Life happened, right? I happen to be one of the few that stuck around along with my dad, and we built up our class to the point where now I'm the sole person that runs our system, and I created my own system and everything else. But it all came with effort. My instructor used to always tell me, and a lot of cliched statements are actually true, is you get what you put into it. And we've lost that mentality of wanting to feel like we earned it, wanting to feel like we did a good job just to do a good job. It's more like, well, you're not paying me for that job, or you didn't ask me to do that. Why do I need to do that? Like I worked at Spirit part-time last year, right? I just wanted the discount at the store, to be perfectly honest. I didn't need the job, but we were going to move at the time. So we're looking, hey, it'd be extra money to go towards moving to the house. I get the big discount at the end of Halloween. We're big Halloween people. But when I made the commitment to do that job, I'm going to do the best damn job I can. And you got people wandering around. This is managers, everybody across the board. It was a great company. I loved working with it. I applied this year. I don't know if I'll work, but I was in there hoofing it for the 3-4 hours I worked each day. I'm running, I'm moving, right? I'm giving them everything I got for that minuscule little bit of money they're paying me. But I'm watching the same people there with me, and they're just taking their own sweet time, moving around. And ask them, it's like, come on, what's taking so long? We get paid by the hour. I'm like, what? You're being paid for a job, do the job, And I remember there's a story I always tell my class about my instructor, Mr. DeLuna. And part of my job as a martial arts instructor is carrying his legacy. So I try to make sure everybody knows his name and knows what he did, because he changed my life. He always instilled in us of, if you want it, work for it. If you don't work, you're not getting it. The end. There's no, you showed up to every single class for 3 years, so you're guaranteed a certain belt. If you come to every class and you're lazy, then you got a bunch of classes. That's it. I got lazy at one point in my time. I didn't test for a couple of years. When I did jujitsu, before I got my first degree black belt, I tested once a year, not because of laziness, but because I had to push myself and I wasn't ready, right? I didn't think I was, and I was older at that time too. So it was like, it wasn't like when Taekwondo, when I was 9 years old, when I started, I was an adult, and it took me a little bit longer. Same thing with judo. I did judo until I got a green belt, and I had to stop for injuries, but it was once every 6 to 8 months that I might test, and sometimes I'd question, do you really think? I don't know if I'm ready for that. But it was instilled into me that you have to put in the work. You have to make effort. You have to push yourself to the brink, no matter how hard it is, how grimy it is, how little money it is, how much, no matter what you're going to get back to succeed. And in my mind, to get a black belt, like my black belt that I have, every single one of them means something to me. It doesn't matter if it means something to anybody else. It means something to me because I know I bled for it. I sweated for it. I cried. I broke bones, my bones, other people's bones. I've been knocked out numerous times. I've got head trauma. I've had surgeries. I've had all this stuff from my 35 plus years of martial arts, doing something that I love and something that means to me because I put the effort in to make it happen. I didn't quit because I broke my nose. I didn't quit because I broke a finger. I didn't quit because I had to have knee surgery. Um, I'm not saying that you go through those things and say, okay, this isn't for me, because had I decided it, this goes for if you're a singer, if you're playing an instrument, if you're an artist, if you're a football player, if you're a painter, if you're, a cook, it doesn't matter what it is you're doing, but you got to make that effort to succeed, to make yourself learn, to grow instead of waiting for it to come to you. I see so many people on Facebook, Twitter, that, we live in the world of trolls, people that just want to attack for no reason. People just want to fight because they want to fight instead of, like Star Wars. Obviously, I'm in a Star Wars universe. So Star Wars is one of the biggest troll situations that happens a lot of times. And instead of somebody saying, my favorite Star Wars movie is this, they want to spend all their time telling other people why this other Star Wars movie sucks, or why they hate it, or why it's been their childhood's been raped, or why they've killed their childhood, or why Disney is destroying everything, instead of spreading what they think is good, right? The same thing has happened in effort. People want that instant gratification. They expect things without putting that effort in. And they think if they brag to people, if they spread the information enough, that people are going to give it to them. We have people that I know personally that have gotten degrees of belts that they may not have earned, that have done things that or got awards that they probably didn't deserve. There's a big uproar in a lot of the federations about people being promoted and not being promoted when they really should be promoted. Like, our federation only allows one 10th degree black belt in the whole organization. So unless that person completely quits, dies, no longer involved, there's no way I will ever make a 10th degree. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm due to test for my 7th next year. I'm fine never being a 10th degree. I'm fine never being a 7th, right? I'm content. I do it for myself to keep growing, so my students see me keep growing, because the effort is still there. I still want to strive, like, despite certain things hindering me between injuries, old age, life, things changed with my bad shoulder, head traumas, and can't do certain things that I used to do than I did in my 20s. I still have the drive to effort to keep pushing forward. I live in a world in my mind of, if I'm fat, I know why I'm fat, right? I know why I've gained weight. I don't live in a make believe. I'm like, well, I'm working out and I'm not doing this, and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm gained weight because I'm eating horrible. I'm not working out as much as I should. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, and I have no excuse because I know how to fix it, right? So until I buckle down, like my dad used to say, and push myself, turn my effort up higher to go back to where I was before, it's not going to change, and it's my fault, right? Everybody's like, I had a leg injury that started my weight gain, right? When I started putting on some of my weight again. My leg injury didn't gain weight. The hamburger made me gain weight, right? So until I'm ready for that, to worry about that part again, it's not going to change. But that doesn't change that I maintain the effort of my training, of the way so I can teach, so I can kick, so I can still do the full splits, I can still jump, I can still do all these things. But it's the effort is different. I'm still keeping my effort, but I haven't exceeded that effort, which I've got to go back and find, right? I think too many people sit back and think, let's just give me something for free. I just want to do it, right? My instructor used to tell me, and I'll kind of wrap it up on this because I'm all over the place. I know when I start talking about martial arts stuff, I get all over the place. But in relation to earning stuff with effort and really striving to be better, before he died and he tested for his 10th degree black belt, I was there. I had the honor of getting to sit there and see him test for a few different degrees as he came up. Like a lot of my students are getting to see for me, which is kind of rare. But he was already sick. He had some kidney issues and a lot of health problems at that point. He was on dialysis. And he had the little hose, he had the hose thing hanging out of his arm that he'd go and they'd plug in and do the dialysis. And then it was just kind of taped on. I don't know how it works, but, it was all kind of on this part of his arm or whatever. And he was getting ready to test for his 10th degree. And mind you, he was the vice president of the federation of this other federation. He was the president of our federation that he started. And he was right-hand man to his instructor and kind of over everybody. If it wasn't under Mr. Hale, who was his instructor, they were under him. That's how kind of a big deal he was in this organization. And I remember going to his belt test. He came straight from dialysis. If you don't know what dialysis is, it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of like a chemo thing, I think, but I'm probably saying it completely wrong. So I apologize to anybody that's had it. If you want to post on there, correct me, please do, because I never did really understand it. But you can look up dialysis. They pump something in you that's helping to kill whatever is in you, or however it is. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it all is. I just know it's not entertaining to do, and it wore him out and made him sick and all kinds of things. But he came straight from dialysis to his 10th degree test. He got up, he did some forms, he did some one steps, he did some kicks and punches and drills. He laid on a bed of nails, he got the cinder blocks broken on his stomach, and then had to be almost, he was so weak after doing all that stuff, he almost had to be carried back to sit down where we were sitting. He walked on his own, but we had people kind of had to help him. And I remember him sitting down next to me, and obviously I was extremely proud and honored to see him give that effort, right? And that was a big turning moment in my life, because watching him do that and him give that effort for something he didn't have to do, because at that level, in the amount of time he had been in martial arts and the status he had, they would have given him the 10th degree. They would have just said, you deserve it. You've been teaching, you earned it. It's yours. Most of the degrees are ceremonial anyway at that point. They would have, sorry if I get emotional, but they would have brought him up there, and nobody would have argued had they just given him his belt. He sat down next to me, and we're talking, and I leaned over to him and I asked him if he's okay. And he said, yeah. And he was just really, really tired and glad it was done. And I asked him, I said, I'm confused why you did that. They would have given you your belt. Why did you put yourself through that? Because you're sick. It wasn't because I didn't think you could do it, but it was like, you're sick. Why did you put yourself through that? Why didn't you just let them vote and give you your belt like you deserve? He just looked at me, and I'll never forget him saying, because I wouldn't have earned it. And I stopped. I said, oh, well, you earned it for years. He goes, but I wouldn't have earned this one. You're watching me, and these other black belts are watching me, and these other students and these little white belts and all these people were watching him. And he said, all these people are watching me when I'm up there, and they're seeing what I do, and I have to lead by example. So I have to give the effort to show them that no matter what, you have to give that effort or you didn't deserve it. And it forever changed my mentality of stuff. Like, I don't take things, or I try not to, because sometimes people give you things and I'm like, no. But if I can't get up and do a test, I won't take a belt. If I can't do a job, like if I do a commission for somebody and they don't like it, I won't take their money. I know artists, and I'm not taking away from other people. You do your business, right? But if somebody doesn't like the work I did, I'm not going to take their money, because I didn't earn it. I didn't give them what they wanted. And it's a piece of advice that has stuck with me, and it's been a curse and a blessing, because now, all these years later, as a martial arts instructor, I think I'm a great instructor. I think I have a good class. I've got a good group of people. I have my off years. We go up and down. You get burned out. You don't do stuff as much as you should, or I find myself standing around more than I should be, doing more physical stuff because I'm just tired. I now teach like 14, 15 classes a week, between senior fitnesses and senior taekwondos and Muay Thai and taekwondo classes, and it wears on me, but I love it. But I always drive that as I'm watching these people do stuff, when they're doing stuff and they're pushing them, I always tell them, I want to remind you, my instructor did this on dialysis. You're going to earn it. You're going to give me the effort, or you're not going to get it. And these guys that I have testing tomorrow, the other side of that same mentality is, by giving effort, giving everything you got to something, even if you're not successful, you should have given so much effort and everything you've got that you are still satisfied. If you fail at something, fail, but be proud of your failure, meaning you did everything you could to succeed. You did everything right. You gave it everything you had. It may not have worked that time. That meant you need to work harder. That means you needed to prepare a different way. That means you needed to do something different that you didn't do that first time. I told the guys, when you leave the belt test, pass or fail, leave everything on the floor. Be proud of what you left. If I fail you, walk away knowing, well, there's nothing else I could have done. Now I got to find out. Would have to find out, what do I need to do to make it better next time? What do I need to do to get it right? What effort did I not have? What was lacking? But know that I gave every piece of effort in my heart, my mind, my body, my soul. Everything is there on the floor, and all I can do is say, that's it. That's all I got. Because at the end of the day, everything you do that you earn is going to mean way more to you than the stuff that's given to you. Don't get me wrong, I want money just like everybody else. But being a professional martial arts instructor and a cartoonist, there ain't that much money in it. But I've positioned myself through building my business, listening to people. I have a really good friend who I worked for years, and I listened to him over the years, and he's the reason that I'm where I am today, outside of like my wife, in relation to building my business and my brand. Listen to him in the business aspect, going for certain things, doing certain things that I'm blessed right now. I'm in probably the best place of my life ever. I have the house I want. I have a car I wanted. I don't have tons of money, but it all comes from effort, right? And I see people on Facebook posting, "Oh, I'm having such a hard time. I can't afford gas, or I can't afford this, but I can't afford that." And we've all been through those times. I was in those times a couple of months ago. Check was delayed for like 3 weeks. We got to the point where waiting for my wife's next check to come in, and we're like, how are we going to get gas this next time? Food's starting to run out. We have a roof over our head. We have cars. Everything's fine on that front. But how are we going to eat? If we run out of gas, how are we going to get there? How are we going to get to our jobs? It started getting desperate times. The upside of growing up poor, you know how to survive. But my problem with people and their issues is like, it's not that they're having issues. It's the same people posting they're at the club, and they're out to eat and drinking, taking pictures of their drinks or their big meals out to eat, when just before that they had posted how they're worried about paying their light bill. They're worried about having money for this, or they owe money to somebody here. And then next thing you know, they're taking pictures, and I'm not talking about that they went to Jack in the Box and bought off the 99-cent menu, or they just went to Chili's or something. I'm talking about they're posting pictures of margaritas. They're posting pictures at hanging out at the club with their friends, or they're out at the store shopping, or all these different stuff. If you have the money for that, then why don't you have the money for this? You can't find a job, or you can't do this, or you're going through this stuff. Your effort's in the wrong place. You have enough. You're making the effort to get a beverage. You're making an effort to go out to eat. You're making an effort to have fun, but you're not making the effort to get a job or to solve your bills. I know that's not always the case. So before people start coming down on me and like, you don't know our circumstance, I don't. But think about it. If somebody posts on Facebook, and somebody actually did this years and years and years ago, oh my God, I'm late for work. I don't have time for this. I just had a flat tire. I'm stuck on the side of the road. I just don't have time for all this today. I'm like, change your tire. Stop posting it on Facebook. Change your tire, go to work. And then the next post says, okay, I made it to work. I was like 45 minutes late, but I got the tire changed. I'm like, how much less late would you have been had you not stopped to post it on Facebook? Right? It's okay to post anything you want to post, but post it after the fact. Oh my God, this morning sucked. I had a flat tire. I was late for work, this and that. But I got it all here. Let's get this day going. That's a different post, right? Oh my God, I haven't been able to find a job. I can't pay my light bill, but today things turned around. I got a check. I went and paid a partial of my light bill, but I needed money so I'd be able to eat. So I went out to eat, took the wife out for a dinner. It's a different post, but don't not make effort to live. Don't make not effort to do something, but then expect everything to be given back to you. You understand? I know I went all over the place, and it was probably made no sense. But this belt test tomorrow is all about effort, and I hope these guys. I wish them luck. I know y'all don't know who they are. I know none of y'all are going to be there, but I just thinking about the effort and thinking about the thing. I just thought we should talk about it a little bit. And to be honest, I still don't know what this thing is either. It's still on my desk. If you've been watching the show, this thing has popped up a few times. It's still here. Still don't know what it is. Anyway, if you want to better yourself in life, it's not about money necessarily. It's not about things. It's about what's in here and what's up here. Better those things. Make an effort to change yourself. Make an effort to be better. All the other things will come together. You'll get that money, or you'll get that thing, or you'll get that happiness. But make this and this priority. Make an effort to be better. All right. Everybody have a wonderful night. See you next time. We're going to probably be doing our Hollywood Matrimony live at a special time tomorrow because the missus has some church stuff she's got to do on Sunday. So we'll be probably sometime tomorrow live. Then also Monday, Hollywood Matrimony, Martial Arts Movie Mondays, Tuesday, TV Tuesdays, which we didn't do last week. We're going to try to make up for this week. We'll have the weekly update on Thursday and another episode of this show at some point. So everybody have a wonderful night. Be nice to each other, love one another, and just try to make somebody smile once in a while. Peace.